It's almost like there's a group of people who don't want bullshit in his beloved series. It seems like going woke means go to shit, doesn't it? This soft baby shit game with weak bitch ass characters that exist only to push the agenda of people that hate you, the customer. Being able to create a drag queen won't change the fact that this reboot looks mid. After years with no new Saints Row game, this was the best Volition can come up with. This was going to bring Saints Row back. They really thought this was it, and so many of you fell for it. Some even joined that Deep Silver Shill collective. I hope that free hoodie was worth it. It's clear that after Agents of Mayhem, Volition can't make good games anymore. The dev team consists of tone-deaf activists that would fit perfectly with BioWare or Naughty Dog. You guys openly dismiss past titles to prop up this game, remove past features to not offend. You wanted that TikTok cancel culture BuzzFeed Tide Pod eating crowd. Smart move, guys. Telling us Saints Row was going back to its roots was a lie. You know it was. It was a cheap tactic to get old fans interested. This reboot is clearly not Saints Row. You out of touch, creatively bankrupt twits. You chose not to listen to what fans wanted for years. You made Gat Out of Hell. Look what happened. You made Agents of Mayhem. Look what happened. And now, you made Saints Row 2022. And look what happened. You kept rejecting your fans, and now, the fans have rejected you.
Fuck Volition. They got what they deserve. I only feel bad for those at Volition who had no say-so in what direction the studio wanted to take Saints Row, Agents of Mayhem, or any other games for that matter. Other than that, I don't feel bad for the clowns who were in charge at Volition. They fucked up for the last time. I'm not sad that Volition has shut down. I mean, why should I be? Or better yet, why should anyone feel sorry for them? It's not like this was the same Volition that gave us the original Saints Row, Red Faction, or The Punisher. This company made it clear as day how they feel about us. Before the Saints Row reboot came out, Volition was trying their hardest to distance themselves from the past Saints Row games, especially Saints Row 1 and 2. And it was obvious Volition wanted to lure in new fans with the Saints Row reboot and weed out OG fans. Just look at the interviews where Goofs at Volition was promoting the reboot while at the same time taking shots at previous Saints Row titles. Hell, Volition and the devs follow that coward-ass shitty Saints Row takes. And before I forget, anyone who followed that account, liked, shared posts, submitted screenshots to the account, or had access to the account, you all are weak-ass bitches and deserve to be laughed at for acting like clowns for this piece of shit reboot from a tone-deaf studio. Funny. Turns out, being a defender of the Saints Row reboot was the shittiest take of all. Also, to anyone who went hard defending the Saints Row reboot, whether it was through videos on YouTube or comment sections on social media, you all look like clowns now, because only a moron would have went hard defending that pussified softcore baby shit reboot. But make sure you hang on to your Clown Shill Award, aka your copy of the game, just as a reminder of how much of a dumbass you are. Now back to Volition. This studio kept ignoring the fans for years, time and time again, year after year. They had a chance to turn things around with the Saints Row reboot, but of course they had to fuck that up. And it wouldn't be a modern day Western studio without developers not being able to handle criticism. Even the community manager, Deadly Steph, aka Derpy Steph, aka the dumbass overinflated talking head, putting out gifs saying, haters gonna hate, and calling people terrorists because God forbid people are not on board with a product you put out to the public. This is why diversity hires suck, and will only cause more trouble than they are worth. They cannot take any form of criticism. They lack the talent to create a quality product, and this is why we keep seeing games with insanely high budgets and years of development end up releasing with a ton of bugs and glitches. Saints Row 2022 was a prime example of this. Volition could have used Saints Row 2022 as a redemption story, but instead it ultimately sent them 6 feet under. And they did it to themselves. There's only so many chances a fan base will give you until they decide to walk away. And any Saints Row fan with dignity walked away. No Deep Silver Creators Collective or trip to Las Vegas needed. The Volition of old was long gone. Real fans knew what was up. The writing was on the wall. It didn't say reboot, it said shit boot. Because playing that turd Saints Row reboot is the equivalent of stepping in shit. So now Embracer Group and Deep Silver can do two things. Give the Saints Row IP to a studio that cares about Saints Row and its fans. Do what Volition couldn't do and give us a real Saints Row game that surpasses Saints Row 2. Or they could let the Saints Row IP stay in limbo for eternity. I hope we get a new Saints Row game that really goes back to its roots, because it's a travesty to see a series with so much potential go to waste for so many years because of the smooth-brained walking skin suit formerly known as Volition. All of the passionate people in that studio left or got booted years ago, while the uncreative, soy jack, pronouns having hacks stayed long enough to run the studio into the ground, tainting the Saints Row IP in the process, and all but sending the Saints Row brand into the Shadow Realm, possibly permanently. And that's why I say fuck Volition. We need more out of touch, progressive, woke clown ass studios to shut down alongside them. This is what happens when you fuck around with the wrong fan base. Saints Row was not catered towards weak corporate slaves who run online to play social justice warrior. It was catered towards people with thick skin who can handle crude humor with some over-the-top hood culture with satire mixed in. It was for those who weren't obsessed with inclusivity or worried about pronouns or any weirdo crap like that. That's the cold hard truth. And the truth is that Volition fucked around and found out. Because Volition doesn't need a gangsta bitch. They need a coroner and a tombstone that reads, "Here lies Volition. Went woke, died broke."